Hello, welcome to More Yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're doing well. And as always, if you're not, that you'll feel better after yoga. And if you don't feel better after yoga, it's not that you did it wrong. It's just maybe on this day, this tool isn't the best one for you. But we try to make it good every time. As always, I like to use props in my own practice and to teach with them. A couple blocks or something that you can use to bring the ground up to you, and something squishy to kneel on to protect those knees. Because just because you can kneel without them doesn't mean it doesn't feel way better to kneel on something padded, folded up blanket or a towel or something like that. Anything like that could work. Okay, let's start lying down. Depending on how your day has been so far, or your morning, or your evening, or the middle of your night, who knows when you practice yoga, you may need to take some time to get some wiggles out. Maybe you feel ready to be still right away. I encourage you to take a little loop of your shoulder blades onto your back and toward each other. It just helps to open through the chest and the shoulders a little bit. And your arms could be out by your side, your knees could be bent or straight, whatever feels comfortable for you here. And then for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. A couple more. And then continue breathing however you need to, whether it's in and out through your nose or your mouth. I'm going to start to draw your focus to your breath, the inhale and the exhale. Notice how your breath is flowing, how it feels. And literally, that's all, right? Just notice. You don't need to fix it or change it. It is perfect just the way it is. Notice the movement that comes with your breath. Notice the space between the breaths. A gentle pause at the top of the inhale and the pause at the bottom of the exhale. And there's no need to lengthen those pauses. But the idea is that if we're able to notice this space in our breath, we might be able to notice the space in our bodies or our minds. And to feel a little bit more free, a little bit more open because of that. Last breath here. And then gently bring a little bit of movement back to your body, whatever way feels best for you to wake up. Wiggle of your fingertips or toes, a little rock of your head from side to side, or maybe a full body morning, evening, afternoon, middle of the night stretch. And then draw your knees into your chest and take a little rock from side to side. Okay, and then keeping your knees bent, bring your feet down to the earth. And then we'll move into a figure four stretch. So cross the right ankle over top of your left thigh. Make sure that those right toes, so the toes of the foot that is crossed, are really flexed back toward your shin, so you're not putting undue torque or tension onto that ankle. This might be enough for you. If you would like to deepen it, you could slide a block underneath your foot, your left foot, or maybe draw your legs toward you. And you could just use the muscles of your core here. You could rock a little bit from side to side. This would be a great place to use a strap behind your leg, or maybe you bind your hands. If bringing your hands behind your leg means that you have to curl up, I'd suggest not using your hands. And then it gives you a little bit more freedom, a little bit less tension through the neck and shoulders. A few more breaths here, whether you're moving, whether you're still, but hopefully feeling some sort of release now into the outer right hip. You could even gently press the right thigh away from you as maybe you draw the left thigh toward you, or draw the right thigh toward you. Last breath here. All right, maintaining the cross of the legs, bring your left foot back down to the floor. Okay, so your right ankle is still crossed over top of the left thigh. And then start to take your feet or your knees over to that sole of the right foot's going to land on the floor. And then open up the right arm out to the side. So it's kind of like a little mini twist through the spine. This might be where you want to stay. Some people might sneak that right foot underneath the left knee to get a cross-legged twist. Or maybe, if it's available to you, if you can grab the right foot, you can hook the right foot up into that left hip crease. And then start to send your right knee down towards the bottom edge of your mat, kind of like half lotus on that right side. It's going to be super deep and sometimes a little bit gnarly on your knee. If it's painful, please don't do it. So wherever you need to go, if you want the leg release with the mini twist, or you want the cross leg twist, so it's just a bit deeper through the spine. Last couple breaths here. And then if you have a bind on your right foot, or if it's crossed, bring it back to that left thigh as if you were in figure four. And then inhale, bring your legs back to center, and then unwind that right leg. Shake it out a little bit, and then we'll switch sides. So left ankle crosses over top of the right thigh. Again, maybe this is enough for you. Or you can start to deepen the stretch, whether you bring something underneath the right foot or start to draw your legs toward you. Again, you could be still or rock a little bit from side to side. You could bind however you want to behind that right leg. Some people like going in the right shin. I don't know, for me that just generates too much tension in my neck and shoulders. So I grab the thigh instead. Now again, if using your hands means that you have to lift your neck and shoulders up off the floor, I'd recommend not using your hands, or at least not behind the thigh. You could still hold onto your foot or your thigh to draw them toward you or press them away. Last few breaths here. As gentle or as deep for release as you need. All right, maintaining that cross of the foot over top of the thigh. Bring your right foot back down to the floor. And then bring your right knee out to the right so the sole of the left foot will land on the earth. Again, this might just be enough for you here. It's kind of an interesting twist, mostly through the lumbar spine. If you want, you can sneak that left foot underneath the right knee or shin for a deeper cross leg stretch, really getting into now the outer hips. Or maybe you grab that left foot with your right hand and tuck your foot into the hip crease. on the right side, getting a little bit of a half lotus release. So last few breaths, wherever you want to be. And then if you have the grab of the foot, or if it's underneath your right thigh, bring it back to that sort of figure four position, and then inhale, come back to center. Uncross your legs, shake it all out. Maybe you grab the backs of your thighs here and rock and roll up and down your spine. If that doesn't feel good, then by all means roll to one side. Press yourself up to hands and knees, and that's where we will meet. So knees underneath hips, toes can be tucked or untucked behind you, and hands out for shoulder width apart or wider. Let's start to move through cat and cow. Inhale, lift the tailbone, hollow through the lower back, broaden through the collarbones, beam your heart forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, around through the spine. Really think of pressing the floor away from you with those hands. Big shrug of the shoulders. And then inhale, tip the belly, retract the shoulder blades. Exhale, round through the spine. So a few more of these undulations on your own time, on your own breath. And if you're really used to this movement, change it up. Maybe you stay longer in the end positions. Maybe you really take your time through the transitions. Maybe there's some other natural movement here that would feel really good. So feel free to add on. Move and groove however you need to. It might look nothing at all like cat and cow. That's cool, because no one's watching. Well, except for maybe, I don't know, your cat or members of the family. Last breath here. Okay. And then come back to center. Little draw of belly button to spine. And then start to press up into that cat position. So really rounding through the spine. Maintain that as you start to send your hips back toward your heels, and you might feel how that changes the location of the stretch. And then depending on your mobility, you could always stay up high on your hands. Maybe you bring your forearms to the earth, dip your nose toward the floor, and then press back up into cow. So starting to make bigger circles here, whatever that means for you, depending on your range of motion. You could stay up on your hands the whole time, or maybe you come down to your forearms. Last round here. And then come back to center. Little wiggle or shake or cat and cow. You're welcome to stay here if that would feel better for you, or maybe join me, tucking the toes and lifting hips up into downward facing dog. If you're in down dog, you might pedal your heels toward the floor, bending one knee and then the other. Wag your tail from side to side. Spread your fingers really wide. Grip the mat with the finger pads. And then start to send your weight more into the fingers and out of the heels of the hands. You'll feel a little mini shrug of the shoulders as you do that, and that's fine. That's a really strong position to be in. Last couple of breaths here. And then bend your knees, look forward. On your exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of your mat into your standing forward fold. This is a fantastic place to bring the floor up to you with blocks, or maybe you rest your elbows on your knees or your thighs. You could clasp opposite elbows with hands and sway a little bit from side to side, wherever you need to go to really just settle into the release through the hamstrings. And the forward fold, right, is a hip hinge at its simplest, right? So imagine if from standing you send your butt back first, right? Hinging at the hips rather than rounding through the spine. So booty back and then a release through the spine. Last couple breaths here.
And then with your fingertips to your shins or blocks or the earth, inhale, little partway lift. Belly button to spine, back, neck stays long. Here's that hip hinge position again, but this time with the long spine. Exhale, let it all go. Couple more on your own time, on your own breath. And then bend your knees, tuck your chin in toward your chest. Head heavy, arms heavy, slowly start to roll up to standing. One vertebra at a time, as slowly as you need to go, till eventually you come all the way up. Couple loops of your shoulders, up, back, and down. Little wiggle, noodle, or release. And then inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Maybe follow with your gaze. Exhale, dive or fold down to the earth, forward fold. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs this time. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Maybe follow with your gaze. Exhale, hands to prayer. Same thing. Inhale to the sky. Exhale, melt to the earth. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. One last time. Inhale, high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky again. Exhale, hands to prayer. Couple breaths. Pause here, eyes open or closed, or hands maybe by your side. Feel what you feel. Notice whatever you notice. And then flick your eyelids open. Shake it out a little bit. All right, welcome to standing. Yay. Okay, bring your feet to touch. So the big toe mounds are touching. There can be a little space between your heels. This is a really awkward position for a lot of people based on leg shape while you're standing. So we're not gonna stand. On your inhale, sit into your chair pose. Okay, so this is a bit easier, right? With legs touching, tailbone down slightly to feel your belly button engaged toward your spine, and then use these big inner thigh muscles. Hug your legs toward each other like crazy. Takes all the pressure off the tops of the thighs. When you look down, can you see all 10 toes? Maybe even de-weight them. If you can't, send your hips further back, right? We're not on a bar stool, we're in a chair. And then bring your hands to prayer. Shoulder blades on your back. I was reminded this morning of a yoga teacher whose classes I used to go to pre-COVID anyway, who used to keep us in chair pose for a minute, 2 minutes. And in my head I was like, I didn't know you could do that. Don't worry, we won't be here that long. Keep hugging those legs toward each other. And then inhale, stand up. Shake it out a little bit. Just, firing up those legs. Okay, send all the weight to your right foot. A little buoyancy on that supporting knee. And then pick up your left knee. Now your toes could be on the floor, right? For a little bit more stability. Make sure that that right knee is bent. Maybe take a couple taps up and down. And then inhale here. Exhale, take your left leg out to the side. Again, toes could be on the floor the whole time. And then back to center. And then out. And then back to center. And out. One more time, back to center. And out. And then pause here. Tree pose. You might bring your foot to the upper inner thigh, or to your calf below the knee, or maybe toes to the floor, sole of the foot pressing into the ankle for more stability. Wherever you are, just don't bring your foot against your knee, right? Hinge joints, I always say this, don't want to be pressed sideways. Trust me on this one. Wherever you are, press your foot into your leg into your foot, squeeze your bum, belly button to spine, shoulder blades on your back, and then maybe you start to grow your branches up to the sky. And I get it, it can be wobbly. If you're practicing yoga before noon, it's way wobblier than later in the day. Maybe it's not wobbly enough, so you add some movement, right? Trees are flexible, they sway in the wind. Last option here is to gently bring the left palm to your thighs, the right arm reaches high. Inhale here, exhale, little side bend to the left. Okay, inhale, come back up to center. Pick that knee up and then cross the ankle over top of the right thigh. Knee wide, figure four stretch. Sit the hips down and back. Now I say stretch, it's more like a figure four balance, so you are getting a bit of a release on the one side. Whew, this is wobbly. Today for me, hands could be in prayer, or you might fold forward a little bit more, bring the forearms to your shin. If you have an arm balance that you want to go for, then please feel free to go for it. Otherwise, stay here with me. Shoulder blades on your back, hips back, knee bent. Because if you're not bending your knee, you're not getting a release through the hips as much as you could be. Last breath here. All right, inhale, come back up, and then step the left leg down, shake out. Whew. The legs a little bit. Let's do a couple hip circles. One direction, and then the other. All right, and then let's send the weight over to that left leg. Come up onto the toes of that right foot, a little buoyancy on that supporting knee. And then maybe you pick that right knee up or take a couple taps just to find your balance. Toes can always be on the floor. You're still doing most of the work here. Inhale here, exhale out to the side. And then inhale back to center. Whew. And exhale out. And center. And out. Last time. Center. And out. And pause. And then find your tree pose. Maybe the foot comes to the upper inner thigh or to your calf or to the sole of the foot pressing into the ankle. Again, just not against that knee, please. Press your foot into your leg into your foot. I know, it's tempting, right? There's like this little bump here of the knee and it's like the sole of the foot just fits really nicely there. But don't do it. Belly bend to spine. And then grow your branches up to the sky. Often one side is easier than the other for balance. If it's too easy, maybe try closing your eyes. Last option, right palm comes to the thigh, lift the left hand a little bit higher, inhale here. Exhale, over to the right. And then inhale, come back to center. Pick up that right knee and then cross the ankle over top of the left thigh. Sit the hips down and back. So standing figure four, whether you're here or on the earth. Woo! Wherever you need to go. Not to impose my experience on you, but holy moly, it's wobbly today. Hips down and back. Butt, heart high. Last couple breaths here. Okay, inhale, stand all the way up. Pick that right knee up. Exhale, step it down. Shake out your legs. Awesome work, awesome balancing. A couple hip circles one direction. Whew. And then the other. Little sway or swing from side to side. Okay, let's go back to that right leg. Little buoyancy on that supporting knee. Again, toes could be on the floor, or maybe you pick up that knee. And then take your left hand to your knee, and then take your leg out to the side. So it's a little bit more supported than we were when the leg was floating. Right arm can go out to the side to counterbalance. This might be where you stay. Some of you might grab the back of the thigh and then extend that left leg. Still others might do some sort of toe lock on that left foot. But look, my left knee is way bent with the toe lock. If extending it means you have to compromise your posture, back out of the extension of the knee. Wherever you want to be, maybe the last couple breaths. Whew, look along the right hand. And then come back to center. Bring that knee back to center. This time take the knee with the right hand. Reach the left arm back behind you. Inhale here, exhale, twist to the left. Option to stay here, or maybe your leg is extended, or maybe you have a grab of the foot. And then inhale, return to center. Exhale, step that left foot down. Whew, I wasn't planning on all of this single leg balancing when I started, but I hope you're enjoying it. I am. And at the moment, I'm the only one in the room, so not that I'm the one who matters, but send the weight over to your left foot. A little buoyancy on that supporting knee. And then pick up the right leg, right hand to the right knee. Take the leg out to the side. Counterbalance with your left arm. Option 1 is here, or even here. Ooh. Option 2, maybe grab the back of the thigh and extend the leg, or maybe there's some sort of toe lock balance, right? Without hiking the hips or compromising your posture. Maybe you look along the left arm. And then slowly inhale, come back to center. This time take your left hand to that right knee. Inhale here. Exhale, twist to the right. Right arm reaches behind you. Maybe you stay here, maybe you extend that leg. And then inhale, unwind back to center. Step your legs down, shake it out a little bit. Oh, a couple hip circles. And then inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, melt into your forward fold. Hopefully this feels like somewhat of a release after all that work. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. And exhale, let it go. 2 more. Bend your knees, plant your hands. Come down to hands and knees. Little wiggle or shake. And then shift your hips on one side. Roll onto your bum. And then roll down to your back. Or just make it down onto your back, however works for you. Once you're down, hug your knees into your chest and take a little rock from side to side. So we'll end with a deeper spinal twist here. Take your right arm out to the side. You might shift your hips right a little bit to start with. And then exhale, lower your knees to the left. Couple breaths here. Your knees could be stacked, legs could be crossed. You could take a single leg twist. This is a great place to bring a block in between your knees or underneath the bottom knee for a little bit more support. Last breath here. And on your inhale, return to center. Reset your pelvis and your spine. So maybe you shift the hips left a little bit to start with. Left arm goes out to the side. Exhale, lower your knees to the right. Again, as gentle or as deep of a twist as you need. Aren't you glad we didn't hold chair pose for 2 minutes? I am. That's the beauty of these online yoga classes, is I'm only ever going to make you do something that I am willing to do myself. Last breath here. Inhale, return to center, and then draw your knees toward you. This time take them wide, up toward your shoulders or armpits. Take a little rock from side to side here. And then you might just stay here for your happy baby, or maybe you kick your feet up to the sky. You can grab the backs of your sides or somewhere along the legs, the ankles, or the feet. Couple breaths here, whether you're in movement or in stillness. And if there's anything else you feel like you need today before your rest, posture or meditation, please feel free to take it. Otherwise, make your way into your final resting pose. You could be flat on your back, legs bent or straight in Shavasana. You could rest on your side or in child's pose or a seated meditation. And there's certainly no rush to get there. But once you have found your pose of rest, for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And let go of your breath control. Let go of any last muscle tension or gripping, particularly in your face, neck, and jaw. With each exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. And stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.